This afternoon we spent a lot of time on discussing whether the Academy should be funded by means of a fund or general government recurrent expenditure. And then the government said that it would be more stable if the Academy can have investment return from a fund. But then this is already the second time the government injects money into the fund. That shows that the investment return is far from stable. In fact, we have frozen an amount of money, hoping that this project can be protected. However, it doesn't seem to work. And why should this project be protected? And if we have a problem with the economy, then we should consider areas where funding support should shrink. And if the investment return is better, will money be plowed back? I think the whole arrangement offers limited flexibility. I think we should take this opportunity to discuss a wider issue of financial arrangement. Perhaps we may not be able to come to a conclusion this afternoon. But then Ms. Alice Lau is here from the FS&TB. Perhaps it is time to review the mode of operation and what funding mode is more appropriate for such projects. In education, we have 8 related funds. The surplus is as much as $50.2 billion. That means we have frozen a large amount of money. If we use recurrent funding instead, now for the Academy, we'll talk about $30-odd million for 1 year. Another injection of $800 million can last for 15 more years. But we have frozen this amount of money well in advance. So is it the best way of funding the Academy? In the long term, is it the best approach? I will not be bogged down here, but then let me return to a related issue. Mr. Shugarjan and I myself have met with Education Bureau officials once, and we were given supplementary information afterwards on the performance indicators. That is, on a regular basis, reports will be given to the board of directors, but the contents of such reports were not disclosed to us. I think we will decide on whether we should approve the further injection so that we know whether the money is well spent. I hope further information or more detailed information can be given to us so that we can make an informed decision. I don't think we can have such information today. I hope in future, when they ask for more funding, they should give us more information on the performance indicators. Ms. Lau? Chairman, Mr. Ip, as well as some other members, talked about the funding arrangements. In fact, the issue raised by Mr. Ip is of a wider perspective, and a very in-depth discussion today may not be possible. I agree. I hope members would note and agree with me that just like the Gifted Education Fund, the establishment of other funds has gone through thorough discussion and has the authorization of this council. So there is protection or some guarantee, so members need not worry. And we disagree that by establishing a fund, we have frozen a certain amount of money. And there is the hint that we have wasted the money. This is not the case. It's in fact kept together with our fiscal surplus. It is yielding dividends or investment return for us, and the return is being used in gifted education, and in this way it is benefiting the society.
First, a matter on the finances. On the 1st of June, the administration submitted some supplementary information to the panel on education. In the appendix on both pages 1 and 2, there is a table showing that in 2015 to 16, the Academy used over $30 million, and then 2016, $50 million. And then page 2, near the bottom, 2017, the Bureau only provided $36 million to the Academy, compared to $50 million in 2016. Well, that is the expenditure. I believe the Academy must have run into the red in its accounts. That is for 2016. And then in 2017, 2018, I think the same will be repeated. Are you going to provide $36 million in funding every year? What is the financial prospect of the Academy? P.S. I have to explain about the $50 million. If you look at note 2 of the paper, it explains that the financial year has been redefined. The accounting year runs from the 1st of April 2016 to 31st of August 2017, meaning that if you count 1 year instead of 18 months, it would just be 36 million. Okay, thank you. Thank you for telling me that there has been a redefinition of the accounting year. So on the average, it is $36 million. It seems our purpose is to provide that kind of recurrent expenditure to the Academy, and we can do it in either of the two ways. One, to use the fund and use the return rate in order to support the expenditure, or we can provide it as part of the recurrent expenditure. The head of the Academy is here with us, I understand. Professor Ng. I'd like to ask him if you are provided $36 million from the fund, or if this is provided in the form of recurrent expenditure from the government. Does it mean any difference to you, Executive Director, Hong Kong Academy for Gifted Education? Professor Ng. Chairman, I must apologize because I don't know much about finances. I don't think there is a difference, but it may be because I don't have the necessary knowledge to comment. Chairman, may I please try to help answer the question? Please do. To the Academy, it doesn't mind where the money comes from and how it is provided. I'd like to explain that this year, the Academy is going to use about $38 million. But as I said at the outset, they are providing enrichment courses. And they would like to provide more advanced courses, which is wider in scope and also more in-depth. And therefore, it would need more resources. From the angle of the government, if we use a fund and provide the expenditure by having a return rate on the fund, then we can ensure that their financial resources will not be affected by the financial situation of the government in any year. If the government has to cut down on expenditure in a certain year, the Academy will still not be affected because there is a fund. This is precisely our commitment towards gifted education. We have the capital to finance the Academy. I understand, Chairman. But if you are applying for more funding, after 2 years, it shows that the fund itself is not stable because the return rate on investment is subject to fluctuation.